Hi, folks. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Tricia Friedman, and we're going to have a little short and sweet episode. This is in anticipation of Neurodiversity Celebration Week, which hopefully you're aware and your school has something in its sights, starts on Monday, March 17th. So that is right around the corner. And I wanted to give you a little way to experiment with generative AI in light of that important week that's coming up. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how I've built a brand new bot that is free for you to check out and to try on yourself. This is what I'm referring to as the Neurodivergent Nexus Bot. I'll get into how I designed the bot, what it can do for you, and why your community might want to use it during Neurodiversity Week. Before I get into that, we've got a quick word from our show sponsor.
Shifting Schools is excited to be sponsored by newlight.io. Their platform is designed to simplify MTSS frameworks for personalized student support. Built by leading experts, Newlight focuses on getting educators the answers they need fast. Which students need which levels of support? With simple data collection and insightful analytics powered by AI, Newlight's platform provides actionable solutions to support your students effectively. Try it for free at newlight.io. That's NEULIGHT.io. Check the link in the show notes to learn more.
All right, thanks for coming back. Now, some of you may have heard ChatGPT has updated its version. A lot of people are talking about the research capabilities that are now possible through AI. And all of this is very exciting. But I've also been using AI for research in different ways for a while now. And it has, I will say, I don't want to frame it from a productivity standpoint. Yes, it has let me do more research, but what is more important to me is it's had me do deeper research. So I love using a tool called Consensus AI that you can try out free. What I love about it is that I can search a question. It will suggest to me some alternative questions. I can filter by the strength of the journal, by the year, and I can also search to find out if it is open source, which is really great. So I was really interested to be thinking about neurodivergence as an asset. I am neurodivergent myself. I'm autistic. I've talked about that a little bit before. And definitely I've recognized that I approach problems somewhat differently. So I was really curious to be thinking about what does it mean to make sure that we are positioning neurodivergence as a strength and as an asset? Now, I also do a lot of work in futures literacy, and part of that work often points me towards doing some research around what big organizations say are some of the biggest crises or risks that we are facing. And the World Economic Forum recently published a report on what they think are some of the most specific risks that we are facing as a globe. So I set out to do some research in terms of seeing what can I do to pair what we know about neurodivergence as an asset. And I took that research, I spent some time looking through it, of course, reading it, engaging with ChatGPT and Notebook LM to help me analyze and better understand some of the research. And then because I have a pro ChatGPT account, I set out to build this bot basically. So I gave it some specific instructions about how it was going to, again, move away from a deficit framing and how it was going to use key findings from the research and how it was also going to help folks consider what the World Economic Forum tells us in their 2025 risks report. Now, it might be more interesting for you to hear from the bot directly what it can do and why it might be useful to engage with it during Neurodiversity Week. So, of course, I asked the bot, And then I used another tool, which is another AI tool called 11 Labs, to give the bot's response a voice so that you listeners of this podcast could basically hear what it has to say when I ask it what its job is. So the next voice you're going to hear is not mine. And yes, it is an AI generated voice. So this is 11 Labs responding to that question of what can the bot do and why might you want to use it during Neurodiversity Week? Here you go.
Hey there, I'm your Neurodivergent Nexus Bot, designed to help you explore and celebrate neurodiversity, especially during Neurodiversity Week. I exist to show how neurodivergent thinkers are not just important, but essential in solving complex global challenges. So how and why might you try me out? Well, the first reason is that I reject outdated ideas that frame neurodivergence as a deficit. Instead, I highlight the ways in which neurodivergent minds drive progress in science, business, and creativity. In terms of how you might use me, you should know that I have something rad in my knowledge base. A bot's knowledge base is where specific files and directions live, and I have been fed to consider research from the World Economic Forum, specifically their Global Risks Report 2025, which lists misinformation, economic instability, and technological risks as major threats. And here's the thing. Neurodivergent thinkers, like autistic individuals with incredible pattern spotting abilities, or ADHDers with crisis-driven adaptability, are exactly what's needed to tackle these issues. I pull from cognitive science research that proves embracing neurodiversity leads to better discoveries, stronger teams, and more inclusive innovation. I can help you see why shifting the focus from fixing neurodivergence to celebrating it is the future of cognitive science. Why am I perfect for Neurodiversity Week? Neurodiversity Week is about celebrating different ways of thinking. I'm here to provide science-backed insights into why neurodivergent minds are essential. I want to encourage paradigm shifts in workplaces, education, and policy so that neurodivergent individuals are valued for their brilliance. If you want to know more about me, you should talk to the human behind me. That's Tricia, and you can email her at tricia@shiftingschools.com.
All right. So thank you for listening to the bot explain what it can do. Now comes you getting experimental with it. And what better time than Neurodiversity Celebration Week to be thinking about different ways we can think with the power of AI. So the link to try this bot out will be in the show notes. As always, I'd love your feedback in terms of how maybe it got you thinking differently about neurodivergence. Last thing that I want to mention, the Shifting Schools summer podcast series is always like one of our biggest listening events over at Shifting Schools. And this year we've put together a survey where we're trying to get some feedback to know what listeners would like to hear more about. And we'd love your votes. We've already had quite a few come in, and every time we do this survey, we learn a little bit more about the audience of the show. So that link will be over there as well. And I do want to point out that if you've got an idea that's not on that survey, just reach out and let us know. The podcast really hopefully is a space where listeners feel like their voice matters as well, where the episodes are so relevant to what it is that you want to be thinking and learning about. Now, the context, I think, is key because let's imagine it's summer. What do you want to be learning about during those weeks? That link is over there. Thanks again, folks, for listening and for experimenting with us at Shifting Schools. See you again next Monday.
Hey there, dedicated listener. If you've made it this far, we know you're passionate about shifting the way education works, and Tricia and I appreciate you. If you loved what you heard today, we'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to rate and review Shifting Schools wherever you listen to podcasts. Those ratings help us reach even more educators just like you. And if you know someone who could benefit from these conversations, please share this episode with them. Just one person. Think of the impact we can make together. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter for even more great content. And if you haven't already, join us at Camp Shifting Schools, where the conversations keep going long after the podcasts end. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and thank you for being part of Shifting Schools.